What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're out here this morning before I punch in for work, and we're going to try and spend a little bit of time with this red car here. Now I've mentioned it in a couple other videos, and I told you I was going to give you guys some details on it. I'm not going to get into too many specific details of the backstory. I'll let Jordan fill you guys in when he comes to pick this thing up. But this is a 2005 ACR. Obviously, if it's an ACR, it's a 2005, but you know, obviously it's a red car. But the guy had originally taken it apart so he could paint the engine bay, and then was going to put it back together, and never did. It sat in his garage for a couple years. Jordan picked it up. He had his reasons for buying this one specifically. But like I said, we'll let him tell you guys when he comes to pick this thing up, or when he's up here and we're working on the car together if he gets a good weekend. But yeah, so this is pretty much the car. The plan with it is we're going to do a BorgWarner 252 turbo. Stock motor, you know, stock everything inside at least, balance shafts. He does want AC, he wants power steering, so all of that's going to end up going in it. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing for Jordan is putting the car together from the firewall forward. So we do have a transmission case. It's getting a Quaife gear set that's got a like a road course gear set in it. So for fifth gear in this one is actually 1-to-1. So I'm going to put the transmission together, the gear set and everything is assembled. It's just not in the case, so I got to put everything in the case, get that all cleaned up, and we'll stuff that stuff together. And that will start piling down on some of the boxes that I got behind the car here. When I get the transmission done, we'll start working on the motor. And then once I get the motor pretty much dressed up, get the timing set and everything on it. I don't know if he wants covers. I'll have to ask him on that one. So what we're going to do is I got to put the pan on it. You know, we'll clean the inside out of it. Put the pan on, do the timing set. We got a new starter shim plate. He does have a new clutch kit. I forget which one he got, but it is in one of the boxes back here. So once I get that stuff done, then what I'm going to probably do is I'll go ahead and I'll dress the engine bay with everything that's already in here. So the brake lines, the module, the master, the clutch stuff, any wiring, and then once all that's together and out of the way here, and the harness is rerouted back to the front of the car, then I'm going to go ahead and we'll put the motor and the transmission in the car, and then we'll just start dressing everything else after that. But he does have a log manifold. He does have the turbo, the wastegate. The only thing he doesn't have for the turbo kit is a dump pipe. They did give him 2 down pipes, so we're going to use whichever one fits the best at this point. Probably going to do a new oil line. I don't know if I want to reuse the old one. He does want AC, he does want power steering, so we're going to put all that stuff back in for him. This is also a toys car. It's really cool because he actually still has both ECMs. He's got the factory ECM and he's got the toys ECM. So with these buttons here, this is high octane mode, intercooler sprayer, dial a boost. So it's got the toy box, which is cool because that was a dealer installed option. You can buy it from guys, and then N2MB does sell a toy box that you can use to control all that stuff with. I've never used the N2MB toy box, so I don't know what their stuff looks like, but this car does have quite a bit of carbon fiber. It has a carbon trunk, carbon wing, stock style wing. It has a carbon fiber front lip, carbon fiber rear diffuser that's going to get changed. You can kind of see it a little bit right there. It looks like it has a modern exhaust. I know it's a 3-inch, and I think so I'm pretty sure this is a modern exhaust. Has a carbon wiper cowl panel. I don't know if he wants to use that. The factory one is back here, so we'll have to check all that stuff with him once it's done. But I'm not going to bother putting any of the body panels on until the car at least runs and drives. Then we can hang the fenders, wiper panel, hood, bumper, stuff like that. Fenders are in the back of the car. He has the hood, and I told him to hang on to that until he's ready to come get it, and then I could put it on. And what I'll do to line the fenders and everything up when I put this together is I'll just grab one of my stock hoods, stick it on the car, and we'll get that all set. That way his hood's not sitting here in the way, getting damaged or whatever. That's pretty much what this car is going to be. I mean, it's not going to be anything too wild. He wants, like I said, he wants to be able to drive it on the road. He does have a CX intercooler that he bought that's in the house. He had that shipped here already. So I sent the turbo off to Turbo Bay. Matt's going to go through that for me. We're going to get it rebuilt because it does have some play. It does have some in and out play in the shaft, so the thrust washer is at least out of it. But he's going to look it over, check the pistons and everything, and then let me know what it's going to cost to rebuild that guy. But this should be a pretty fun car. Ultimately, I think Jordan's goal was 350, 400 horsepower. So that turbo and a stock motor are going to be perfect. And even at 350 horsepower, being a big turbo car, if it comes in later, it might actually help him out with traction. It's not going to be anything crazy, but for now, it does have these centerline Storms, and I think they're 15x7. But he does have a 245 tire on here that rubs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing up on jack stands, and I'm going to see if that tire will actually clear the strut with a 3 or 5 millimeter spacer. And if it will, then he'll get another set of 245s. He's looking at the Federal RSRR tires. Another mutual friend of ours, Chris, who actually used to own the blue car with stripes that I have, had ran those Federal tires on his black car at over 900 horsepower, and he said he really liked them. And my buddy Josh also has them on his Supra, and he likes them. The only downside is they're a steel belted tire, so they're a little bit heavy, but they work. They're really budget friendly, very sticky tire for what you pay for it. I just gotta put some spacers on here and see what he actually has for clearance with the BCs with these wheels, because I don't know what the offset on these wheels are, but we're gonna look into that and see what we got here. So what I'm gonna do right now before work is I'm gonna try and get this car up on jack stands. I'm gonna get all the transmission parts up here and on my bench. That way when I'm done with work today, I can get out here and start hustling on that trans. At least get the transmission together, and then once the trans is together, I'll start dressing the firewall, and then while the car's in the air, I'll set the transmission in the engine bay on the floor. That way it's out of the way, and I'll have room to work with all the other stuff we got here, because he does have a pile of boxes, guys. So we got 2 totes here on the ground. We got axles and stuff on that tote, fender liners. He's got new headlights over there. Transmission parts are in the box right there by that trash can. I forget what's in those boxes. Some more carbon fiber parts. I want to say one of those boxes is another rear diffuser. I don't know what the other box is. I'll have to look at that one. I want to say that one was side skirts, but we'll see what we got here, because he already does have the carbon side skirts on the car. He's got a metal radiator hose, cowl seal, wipers. There's the AC lines and a washer jug, you know, things like that. So all of that stuff will go in after the engine runs. We'll get this thing up on jack stands. I'll get all these parts together, and if I still got some time before work, I'll go ahead and pull the front wheels off. I'll put the spacers on, and then I can let him know what he's got for room on tire, and we can go from there. But let's get this thing up on jack stands, and let's see what we got for all these parts here. So a little more information that I did forget about. So the fuel system that's in this car has a -8 feed and a -6 return. So this guy was setting this thing up for something huge. With the power that we're looking for, we really don't need that much. So what I'm gonna end up doing is dropping the fuel tank, seeing what kind of pump it actually has in the tank, and we'll go from there. If it's only like a 255, we'll probably step everything down to a -6 feed, maybe a -4 return or a -6. That way he's got room to go bigger eventually if he wants, maybe a 450, and then we can let it ride at that point. So I got to figure that out. And then the axles that we have, he actually has some old drive shaft level 3s with the green boots still. So that's pretty cool. So he's gonna have a good trans, good axles. Pretty much the drivetrain should be solid on this thing. The only thing that we're really gonna have to worry about if he really starts to lean and push on this thing, you know, we get much over 450 horsepower, he'll have to look at building a motor. But yeah, let's get this thing up in the air and let's see what we got going on here. Dang, this thing's even so original, it still has the ground from the struts to the body, which is nuts. Usually when guys swap the suspension, they get rid of that stuff, but they're on both sides. That's cool. So the guy that had it before wasn't a hack. He didn't just tear shit out of the car. Well, I'm actually kind of excited to work on this one, and I'm also scared. I don't want to hurt the car in any way, because this thing is way cleaner than my blue one. I thought my blue one was pretty clean overall. I mean, it's got its imperfections for a 17-year-old car, but this red one is clean, guys. Get my flashlight here and I'll show you. As you can see, the bay and the wiper shelf and everything have been recently resprayed. Let me go underneath here, and the whole thing, I mean, there's a couple jack spots from the previous owners where it's been nicked up a little bit. But it's all undercoated. There ain't no rust. It's got that rubber stuff on it still, so nobody ever went in here and took all that shit off, which is good. There is absolutely no rust on this car. So we look at the back here. When they rust, this is the spot to get it first usually. If you look here, I gotta worm my way in between these boxes here. Okay. So yeah, right here, there is hardly even any surface rust on the adjusters for the rear control arm, and where the welds go to the body itself. I mean, this thing is just super clean for a car. So we got some powder coated rear mounts. So there is one of those sway bar mounts in a box for the bushing. So those were powder coated. I think, yeah, this is just a stock bar. So we're gonna have to get some shorter links. The rear spindles are still black. The caliper's got a couple nicks, but like I said, guys, this thing is stupid clean for a car. But I was right. It does have a modern exhaust, which is what it looked like to me. I just needed to get it up in the air and double check, make sure it didn't have any goofy Ys or anything in it. But yeah, this thing is nuts, guys. Get these front wheels off and see what we got for spacers here and see how they fit. I gotta run inside and grab my gun, so I'm gonna go grab my impact, and then I will be right back. These 3mm spacers actually give it a bit of room, so I think that's just what I'm gonna tell them. We'll run the 245s, and we'll get a spacer to get these guys out here, so that'll fit good. So yeah, I'm gonna dig this transmission parts out. We're gonna move them up to the front of the box, or move them up to the front of the car here, get them ready for when I get back out here after work. I'll bring you guys back in then. All right, guys, end of the work day. We're out here in the garage again. So what we're gonna do, let's get this transmission cleaned up and get this thing stuffed together for the red car here, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the night. We did message Jordan about the wheels and tires, so what he's gonna do is get some 235 Federals. They are 1 inch narrower than these Nittles are, so we should be able to get away with not needing spacers, but I do have some here if he needs them. I can stuff them on the car, but he said he was going to order those tires and get those coming my way, so they should be here hopefully within the week. So when they show up, I'll pull all the wheels off, we'll take them in, we'll get them mounted, and then get them back here and ready for the car. So let's get this transmission done. So if you look at it, it might be hard to see because I'm trying to shoulder my flashlight here, but you can see the seals rolled right here. So the outer dust boot, so this is the actual seal. This piece inside is what actually seals, and then this is a dust boot. Well, the dust boot's nicked. We definitely don't want water and shit getting in there. That wouldn't be a good time. And then if you look at this side, that dust boot is actually kind of deteriorated and fallen apart on this side. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna change both of them seals, and he'll be okay. But like I said, the inside of the diff looks pretty clean. The only issue that I had trying to clean this thing up was the gunk that was packed in this fluid channel here, which it's a lot cleaner than it is now. I don't know if the camera's gonna clean that up too, or pick that up too well, but definitely cleaner than it was. Way cleaner than it was. So I'm gonna finish cleaning up the housing here. I'll set the gear set in it, and then I'll start cleaning the end plates, and I'll get that stuck on. And then I have snap rings somewhere. I gotta dig them up if they're not in that box. But let's get this stuff going. So yeah, I got some snap rings in a box I gotta dig out because I don't think he had any from all the parts we went through, but if I come across his while we're going together, we'll use his, but if not, I got some I can put in here, no problem. So yeah, just gotta finish cleaning off my mating surfaces for my case half and the end plate, and we'll cram this guy back together. Shout out to Daryl Cox Racing for putting together a transmission kit. I mean, actually they sell a kit, T850 complete stud kit. So your end plate or the top plate or bell housing, but you can buy a whole kit right from these guys and they'll set you right up. So if you ever need it, just go ahead and email Jen or Daryl or message them on Facebook, and they can take care of you guys. Let's get these guys stuck in here. Well guys, got the transmission put together. I went over the engine bay here real quick and we kind of just untied the bags and tape and everything, got the harness and the fuse box set out of the way, and then I went and I bolted the master on so it would hold the ABS unit, the lines and everything up out of the way, just so I could set the transmission in the bay. So it's out of the way. We got a workbench back, got a little bit more workspace to work with. We downsized on a box. The parts that are left over from the job, I'm just gonna start putting in that box. So I'm gonna find a spot on the car that I could put that box and not have to mess with it and just keep chucking parts in there as I'm not using them. But I think that's about it though, guys. We're gonna wrap this one up for the night. It is like midnight and I do have to work in the morning and I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna wash up, I'm gonna eat, go to bed, work tomorrow, we'll get back out here. So you guys have yourself a good one, stay safe, and we'll see you at the track. Thanks.